Om Shanti and a very good morning from Aberdeen Hindu Temple in Stonywood. Today is Sunday the 14th of August. Since Wednesday I have been observing the supermoon, so a moon that is very close to the earth and therefore becomes very easily visible in the sky. And in fact, even yesterday evening the moon was almost like a red supermoon. And obviously, the heat that we are having, the problems that are in people's minds about the financial security, about energy supply, about peace in the world is very, very high. And the heat contributes to that, in that people become dehydrated and then very easily can act out of their normal self. So this is a time where we really have to start to make sure that we are really, really looking after ourselves, that we are looking after these bodies, these vehicles, as well as we can, so that they function and that we don't lose it, but that we meant it. Meaning that wherever there is a difficulty, we find a solution. And we don't react to situations, because what we're seeing probably is a lot of reactions around the world. But that we come from a measured sort of awareness, and that we actually express the goodness that lies in each one of us with everybody else around us. That no matter what difficulties we are facing, we still have the option and the ability and the openness to smile, to understand where others are coming from, to think compassionately and lovingly, and to support whoever is around us, wherever they are at, wherever their story is, wherever they are progressing at this moment in time. That is where they are. Now, when you have awakened, when you become soul conscious, it means that you have awakened. Your soul is awakened, your consciousness is awakened. It means that you don't just react to life, to feelings, to what we see and what we hear, but that we come out of a place of peace, a place of love, a place of happiness. Because no matter what is happening around me, I can create that environment of happiness, that environment of peace, that environment of love within myself. And this will allow me to have greater tolerance, greater awareness, and greater capacity to respond to situations around me. And sometimes, if our feelings are running high, if the tears are welling up, if the feeling of maybe loneliness, maybe feeling unloved, feeling lack, where there are needs, recognize these needs. What is it that I need in this moment? Why is it that I'm feeling like this? And that is why the tears are welling up. Or what is the need in other people around me? Why are they reacting in this way? What is it that they need? And can I fulfill that need? Sometimes it is just paraphrasing and communicating that I'm actually understanding where they are coming from. and recognizing the goodness that is inside themselves. Maybe they're helping others and yet feeling angry about doing it. Understanding on a higher level that maybe that is their role to do and they do it, but they don't do it lovingly. They don't do it with that generosity of heart. And so perhaps it means that their need is that they need to be loved. They need to be cared for. And once they feel safe, because when somebody cries, they are not feeling safe, they're feeling vulnerable. They are responding like a child would because they cannot express, they don't have the power to do the things as perhaps an adult has, who has more options and more means to do things. And so they either rebel, they become angry, or they just cry. And so understanding what is standing behind that gives me the opportunity to understand what is it that I can contribute, so that that feeling of feeling lost, feeling hurt, and without any power, without any ability to control what's happening around me and within me, and then I cry. And sometimes just by appreciating what they're doing and how they're wanting to contribute and how they are expressing the love, even if it is not to the full extent that maybe they could have, that actually helps them to overcome that feeling of loss of control, that feeling of emptiness, that feeling of loss. Yeah? And this is happening all around us. And so in our morning class today, we're just thinking about the difference between soul consciousness and body consciousness. And this is actually in the meditation course, the first lesson. And yet, in some time ago, they counted how many times the mention of soul consciousness happens in one class. And they counted 41 times. Why is it so important to be soul conscious? Why is it mentioned again and again and again, and day after day and day after day? And the understanding is that we forget. We are become so aware that we are in these bodies that are needy, that require food and hydration and sleep and safety and care and all clothes, everything. We are so engrossed in fulfilling that need that we actually completely forget about the needs and the support and care that we have to do and have to give to our souls. We know that we will all wake up in the mornings and have a shower and brush our teeth and have some fresh clothes on and have a nice breakfast and so on and so on and so on. And during the day, we will have different breaks, and maybe in the evening we go for a stroll, we exercise the body. So this routine is very well ingrained. But what is my routine to actually support my soul so that I do not just react to situations, but I come from a natural state, a state of love, a state of harmony that is inside myself? How do I support my soul? Like just as I brush my teeth at least twice a day, just as I eat at certain times, just as I have so many showers, whatever it is, I need to actually become peaceful and subtle and really connect with my soul. And that is much more difficult, and that's why it's so easy to forget it. Forget the soul and be engrossed in the body. Because the soul is subtle. The soul can be understood with my becoming subtle, which means myself detaching myself from the body. And that is the first sort of steps in meditation. I sit down peacefully, if I can, in a place where there is not much going on, not much activity, and so that I find it easy to detach myself and detach myself from the environment, making sure and checking that my body is comfortable, and then raising my energy, my attention, my focus, my awareness to that space in between my eyes, just above the root of the nose, where behind the seat, the throne of the soul is. It's not on the skin, but it's actually in a place that is the powerhouse of the body. So the soul directly controls and directs and guides the body in all its function. And so if the soul is peaceful, if the soul is happy, if the soul is loving, then each cell of this body is being loved, experiences peace. And what happens when we feel peaceful? We relax. And when we relax, we become even bigger, isn't it? Not that we put weight on, but we just expand. We allow everything to be relaxed and comfortable. When we're tense, we tense up. Yeah, we harden up, whereas when we relax, we soften up. And so as I soften up, my mind also softens. My soul is able now to receive, absorb, understand, and then respond in a loving way, in a peaceful way. And I have seen that transformation happening many, many times. And people who maybe in the past had a very hard and forceful, we call it sanskars or personality trait. And as they meditate and as they raise their awareness, they become subtle and then are able to connect with the Supreme Soul from whom we receive all the love of this world. When they do that again and again in a regular way, they become soft, they become loving, they become wise, not sharp, but wise. And they can foresee, but they can also accommodate and cooperate. And they can also communicate in a loving way with others to make them feel empowered and cared for. And so it becomes an atmosphere that we create, a space in which others are invited, a space that has a fragrance that is beautiful and that uplifts like a perfume. Yeah, it stirs up the senses and it brings them into a higher space. Now, how would it be if I can go into that higher space just by myself? And just to round up, in these times where there's worry, where there's scarcity to some extent, where there's heat, we're just going through a heat wave. Please look after your bodies. You're the keeper of this body. You're the trustee of this body. So hydrate it, rest it, feed it, care for it. But once you have met those basic needs, care for the soul. And caring for the soul automatically will care for the body. Yeah. And when you care for the soul, you want it to be filled with love of the Supreme. You want it to be cared for so that it feels safe. And having that connection, that yoga with the Supreme Soul, creates a canopy of protection from the divine. And in that connection with the divine, I can experience safety, I can experience love, and I can share that with others without any fear that I might not have enough. So let us go into meditation. Take a nice deep breath. Feel how your lungs expand, how your stomach comes out. And as you breathe out, just allow any tension just to flow away. Have your feet connected with the floor so that you're grounded, you're stable. And so you can allow yourself to detach yourself from the body and just go into the awareness of I, the soul, the being of light. Take another couple of breaths deep in and out. And as you breathe out, just relax. The soul, the being of light, is sparkling in the center of the forehead, like a tilak, like a diamond. It is creating an atmosphere of beauty, of fragrance all around you. And the more powerful the soul, the wider that fragrance goes. And the fragrance is of peace and love, of understanding, of purity and happiness, of bliss. That bliss of connecting with the Supreme and standing under the canopy of protection, the rain of love, of knowledge, of upliftment from the Supreme, the Divine. Experience the peace inside. And in that peace, without any fear, go into it. Embrace it. And feel the love that you find in that space when you connect with the Supreme. It becomes what we call volcanic yoga, an eruption of love, of peace, of happiness, of wisdom. But it is not violent. It is soft and sweet, gentle and kind. And that purity, that power shines through your face. That awareness of being the soul travels into the atmosphere and changes the experience of that atmosphere. the atmosphere becomes charged and filled with that love and that sweetness that allows others just to let go of their worries, of their pains and sorrows, but allows them to feel nourished, loved, accepted, and served, cared for. And in that caring, the love comes back and fills each one of us with an experience of love, of acceptance, of appreciation that empowers. Allow yourself to go to the top of a mountain. If you have, see yourself how you are sitting on a rock. A beautiful day around you. Having a little bit of wind. You can hear the sound of the wind. And you can perhaps hear the sound of some birds. But in front of you, the vastness of the unlimited landscape. Your eye reaches very, very far. And you experience a deep peace. A connection, a unity that you had not experienced before. Happens so easily. And as you're sitting there, you let go of the awareness of the body and become purely soul conscious, aware of the soul, aware of the living energy inside my body. And you let go of any needs, but replace them with the ability to love, ability to give, to be courageous and happy no matter what is happening around me. And these feelings, these awarenesses become part of the fabric of who you are, of your personality. And even when fighting for achieving almost impossible goals, you do so step by step in soul consciousness, in God consciousness, in the connection, in the yoga with the divine, the supreme being, the being of love, the ocean of knowledge, the ocean of mercy and upliftment, the one who is not in a physical body, but communicates at this time with those who are in bodies to help them to return back to the highest form, to their fragrance and beauty. And so those who are engaged in that meditation become part of a sacred community, a community of souls that serve the world. So sitting on this mountain top, you have reached to with a landscape of beautiful green meadows and trees and animals grazing and rivers flowing. And beyond that, cities and towns and houses. Means that we live in this world, and whilst we live in this world, we have to benefit this world. And we don't do that by giving out blankets necessarily, although we might do that. But we do that by giving out the experience of peace and love and harmony. And then reaching out to others and caring for the spiritual wounds they are affected with. And giving the message of being loved and being cared for by the Supreme. All they need to do is just turn around and express their need or the wish to connect with the Supreme, and the Supreme will be there, will fill and will respond, and magic will be happening all around you. So to meditate, to care for the soul, to awaken spiritually, means also to create this beautiful connection and link with the Supreme and being sustained by it and sharing that love, that peace, that harmony with the world all around us. So back on the mountaintop with the wind caressing your face and your hair, with the blue sky giving you freshness and love, and nature around you giving you that experience of harmony. Connect with the soul. Become aware of I, the soul, the being of light, the pure being in this body. Connecting with the Supreme Being, the source of love, the source of life that is beyond this world, beyond the physical world. And creating that link of love, that link of support, and sharing that like an atomic bomb all around you in the world, and creating molecules of happiness in those who receive that energy and are not aware where it is coming from, but who can feel that awareness of love, of harmony, of peace, purity, of bliss, just being awakened in the self. To meditate means to become subconscious. To become God conscious means to be awakened and to be a transformer and an uplifter of this world. So take time and sit in quietness in a quiet space and practice becoming aware of I, the soul, the being of light. And as you do, fill yourself with life and love and peace and happiness. And all sorrow, all worry will just fade away. Connect with your companion, with your father, with your mother, your beloved, and feel that safety and that light and that happiness inside yourself. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Have a wonderful day. And share this beautiful energy all around. Om Shanti.